Nick Community High School. My name is Caleb Zaborski. Welcome back to your weekly weather forecast, number 5. Let's hop right into next week. So for the week of September 23rd, 24, we start Monday. We have a JV football game, and it's against Lakes. So show up for that if you can. The high, around a high of high 60s and a low of mid 50s. Just a little bit cooler than what we've been experiencing now. Finally hopefully trying to get back into that fall weather. Now on Tuesday we have flag football versus Lakes once again. High of a high 60s and low of mid 40s. Just gets a little bit colder for the low temperatures. So for your morning commute to the school, or maybe even during that football game, it might be just a little bit chillier than the day before. Wednesday we have varsity field hockey, a high of low 70s and a low of mid 50s. Just gets a little bit warmer actually there for the high. And then Thursday, we have varsity men's soccer, a high of high 60s and a low of high 40s, kind of staying relatively consistent with temperatures. Now, Friday, that's Friday Night Lights at North Chicago with a high of low 70s and a low of high 40s. For that, I do expect the game to be colder because, once again, if you're in North Chicago, you're a little bit closer to the lake. So you're going to be experiencing just a little bit more of the lakeside temperatures, which might be locally colder. Not too much to worry about if you're going to go there. Just dress in 1 or 2 layers. Now for Saturday, we have varsity field hockey and varsity men's soccer. Now for that, it gets much warmer with a high of high 70s and a low of mid 50s. Now on to Sunday, we have a high of low 70s and a low of low 60s. Once again, staying relatively consistent with temperatures. Very nice, very fall-like temperatures. Once again, to show this, it's just a little bit above average. Not too much like the weeks prior. So, once again, not much to worry about. You can see that the entire United States is mostly above average. And for precipitation, we finally might get just a little bit of rain. I know this past weekend we do expect some rain, maybe possibly up to an inch during homecoming, actually. Atlantic and Pacific hurricane seasons is up right, and I am trying a new model to show this. This is the experimental Global Tropics Hazardous Outlook. So for this, instead of having like these points of interest, we have areas that are more conductive for tropical weather. And what's nice too is that this gives us very direct time frames. As you can see, for up there, week 2, valid September 25th through October 1st. So that's about most of next week. I know that you see where that dark red is, right next to the Yucatan Peninsula and Cuba. Now for that's the main issue so far, is that we do expect possibly something to form in that area. And if it does form, once again, the Gulf waters have been abnormally high this season, and there should be little to no shear, and shear rips apart these little baby hurricanes, tropical storms. But because there's no shear and because it's so hot there, if something does form, it will be a threat to the United States. So I'll possibly do that in an email. Expect that within a day or two of Monday or so. So Tuesday or Wednesday. Now, Northern Lights. We had the Northern Lights. I know you saw my emails. I sent out like 2 or 3 of them. But we actually had it overperform. It was an unexpected G4. So there's lists to it. So let's see the list. So this is the G4 message. It's G4 out of 6 ratings. There's G0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 being the highest. We had that, I think, May 12th. But G4, once again, can still bring the aurora down here. I know we usually get aurora borealis with G3 storms. Now, obviously, granted that has a little bit of other factors along with it. But overall, this was a unexpected severe geomagnetic storm. And it didn't. I don't think it impacted that many electrical equipment or any of that. Mostly, it was just a big aurora show for the United States. And so let's go on to where states saw the aurora. Almost all of the lower 48. I know Alaska obviously saw it. I think Hawaii might have seen it. I don't know just yet. But you can take a quick glance. I'm not going to go over every single state, obviously. But it was seen as far south as that red line right there. So I think that's the 33rd parallel. And that is, once again, it splits right about through Texas. And we did see some reports there. Overall, with this storm, basically, with the aurora, there's different phases to it, and we start out with just the normal phase of it actually impacting the United States, the Earth actually, and it has different components to its solar winds, and usually it travels down south. So see, like a line of the aurora travels south, but there's also these phases where it gets locally much more intense. We call that actually the substorm phase, where for about 10 to 30 minutes, it'll just start absolutely unleashing like the beautiful pillars that you usually associate with the aurora. Big pillars, usually red or green, sometimes even pink, but that's the substorm phase. And then right after that, it goes into the recovery phase to where the overall storm intensity is down to G1 or G2. The reason that this was a G4 is because of that super intense substorm that actually created locally G4 conditions. So once again, it was a very interesting event to happen, but also very welcome. I mean, for us to see the aurora is relatively rare, but it's always nice to see it. And that is your weekly weather forecast number 5. I know I forgot to cover this, but right there is Typhoon Ida. I know I've been covering like weather history, and this one is much further back. This is September 26th of 1958. I know we had a Hurricane Ida. And once again, for the United States, most of our intense hurricanes come from the letter I. Irma, Ida, Ivan. So for this to be a Typhoon Ida over in the Pacific, you see a very, very intense hurricane. Actually, typhoon.